The year's a quarter over. Want to kill yourself yet? My goodness gracious me, how time flies. We're all going to die, and you're younger yesterday than you were today, and you'll never be able to do nothing about it. Now, that's very upsetting, but we have to move past all that in order to reflect on March of 2026 and plan, or go over the plan, for April 2026. Everybody got excited. So you can see the months in red there, because, this is graphic design. And that's by me. Now, was it a good month in March? We're going to find out through our little PowerPoint here. The state of the channels, my goodness. Oh my goodness, why did nobody tell me though? Wait, is there supposed to be 2 N's in channels? I think there is. Anyway, nobody should have told me because nobody needed to tell me. Now, I didn't proofread this at all, and I did this all yesterday, so who knows if this makes any sense. But from what I'm seeing here, there were 2 Kyle Entertainment videos. That's +1 from last month, uploaded in March. And that makes 6 videos overall for the year. My goodness, that's an improvement. We're going to break some records this year. That's not true. We're probably not going to break any fucking 2020 records, but we're doing okay. These were, of course, 2 very underperforming videos, but, let's focus on the positives right now. It was the 3 scenes video, which I thought was a cute video. I like that video. And the Utna video, which I do like less. I do think is a little shitty. And I did contemplate, well, funnily enough with that video, there was a completely different version of that video recorded, and like the first minute of it was edited, where it was much more jokey. And much more in the style of maybe the Gym Badges video, the Ash's Gym Badges video. But I just didn't like it, and I was like, ugh. So then I did kind of a more straightforward going through the different creative aspects of Utna stuff. It was okay. I really don't think the video really portrays it well. I think, honestly, just seeing them in the context of the show is better. Now, the same could probably be said about my Great Scenes video. It's very hard. I don't know. I pivoted away. I feel like we have the same conversation. These 2 videos are trying to relive the feeling you get watching these shows. So the scene ones are sort of scene-by-scene breakdowns where I go, ooh, and then what do you think's going to happen next or whatever, and it's like going through the train of thought I had while watching it and why it was surprising to me, which is already like, there's 2 potential issues here. People don't think the same way as you, which is almost always definitely true, but sometimes it's only a little untrue, so it still works. And there's also the, what if you don't portray it well enough or recreate it well enough? I still think the best I ever did this was with the Tycho stuff in the Madoka Diebuster video. I think the Madoka stuff in that video is good too. It's a pretty good video, I think. And I think I've kind of failed a little bit recently. I was more down on the scenes video because, funnily enough, neither one of these videos has a comment yet, I don't think. And the scenes video was doing terrible until I got a leader to make me a new thumbnail, and then unironically it got like 200 views and then kept climbing. This is definitely a thing going forward. I definitely need to coordinate more with RE, or I need to pay him to make these thumbnails. I don't know which one I'm more comfortable with, but he said he might do an Utna one. Right now it's just 3 different stills from the show that look kind of good, I guess. Because it is an integral part. And I think I went through a string of making like kind of okay thumbnails. Oh yeah, I made the 2 Denji ones, and I think both of them are pretty good. And I think they gave me a lot of false confidence. Because all the other thumbnails have been terrible. The Ash Gym Battles one is a screenshot. The Night of the Seven Kingdoms one is absolutely terrible. The new Strong Silent Sopranos one is bad. I don't know. Most of them are bad. The Dina one was pretty good, as I'm scrolling through these on my phone right now. But yeah, I think I definitely need to coordinate that better. Because the leader will probably do it with me if I give him an actual fucking heads up or something. So yeah, both these videos are, I like, in the 3 scenes, I like the fact that I have now made videos on these things. Because a big thing with me is that these things, like I still have never really made a proper Mad Men video in the modern Kyle ENT era, which I think will probably be in the next one. So we're going to change that a little bit. I've never really made a scripted black sales video except for that one. Like I want to make videos about the best things. And the fact that I have one on Industry, which I had watched recently and really liked, one on Succession, which I had watched recently and really liked, and another Sopranos one. I like just that as a accomplishment or something. Utna is just something I kind of had an idea from, and it was fresh, and I had pretty detailed notes. of the because basically all my notes for our scripted discussion were just like the things I thought were cute or clever, or creative, you could say. So it was easy to like compile them and stuff like that. The more I don't really remember exactly what's in the Defensive Ashes Kanto gym battles, but I feel like I want to like remake that video. It was like so bad. I don't know. This is also a future direction. I think I talked about this on stream a little bit too. Is I do want to get away from the funny stuff. If anything, I should keep the funny stuff to like secondary ENT. Sometimes the funny stuff is good. This is a thing I was originally saying, where there's the two type of videos. There's the explaining how I felt in the moment and trying to portray that to the audience. And then there's the more like sort of rigorous, like slightly evidence-based analysis stuff, which would be the Denji, the big Denji video. And even the character development one. Though that one, again, has, like, the funny tone to it. Not that the Denji, the Guna one doesn't either. But that's, like, a big video with a big point. And there are videos, there's, like, Last of Us videos I could make like that. There are Madman videos I could make like that. Though the Madman video I do have in mind is more it is going over some scenes. So we'll see. I think there's good analysis in that, though. But yeah, so I want them to be more serious, I think, going forward a little bit. I think we've made some funny videos. I think that was a thing I tried to do for a long time and slowly worked my way up into getting better at. But I think we can move on from that now, I think. And maybe big idea videos, maybe that too. But anyway, in terms of popularity, it just, I don't know. The Madman videos have the potentiality to be popular. There are and also it did just go to HBO Max, so there has been some discourse on it recently. It just really, like, the marketing of the title and thumbnail is very important. And the video I would make is going to be called, like, The Scenes That Make Madman the Greatest Show of All Time, or something like that, which I think is decent clickbait, in terms of Madman clickbait. Obviously, it doesn't have too much outside appeal, because if it's not like a literal clickbait of, oh, what's he talking about? So that could be a popular video. I lost my train of thought completely. And just more generally relevant things, but whatever. Those were the main channel videos. I think we just, better and more. Have we ever said that before? But yes, I think actually this is maybe on the next slide or something, of what the plans moving forward would be. But it's definitely more than 2 videos. I was very lazy and I got the last one out in the last day. I'm also probably going to be at least for a weekend out of the country, so that could prove a problem, but we'll tackle that as we come to it. There were 11 secondary ENT videos, 0 of which were scripted, 3 of which were group collaboration discussions, 3 of which were Chainsaw Man chapter discussions, and there'll never be another one. 2 of which were reflections, like these and the other video that'll be uploaded today. 2 were show seasonal reviews, which is absolutely insane that I was still watching Industry at the beginning of this month. You know, usually the gimmick at the beginning of the videos is me crying about how fast time is moving. Sometimes with that, like when I scroll down and I saw that the Denji Guna video came out 2 months ago. Now, it's probably closer to 3 months ago, but on YouTube it says 2 months ago right now. That is insanely mind-blowing. That is crazy. That feels like a lifetime ago. And so does watching new Industry episodes. So that is kind of crazy too. So I like that. And 1 was a great tribute video, of course, my little edit. And I did just upload the Chainsaw Man chapter review full sale after doing the stream, but we're not up to talking about streams yet. This is down 9 from last month. I remember on the last month's one of these, I was like, oh, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a secondary ENT video every day. It's hard to come up with topics that feel worthy of videos and to give a fuck about that. And I guess overall, I didn't really say this because I wasn't really thinking about it, but I definitely want, because also if you look at Footy ENT, there were 2 Footy ENT videos this month, which is -5 from last month, because we did all the previews last month. But also because I think I'm a bit burnt out on Footy ENT. And I think this is good because I think I'm a little burnt out on secondary ENT. And now secondary ENT is going to look very different now because there aren't constant Chainsaw Man discussions to keep at least something on the channel. So it will be interesting. We could be back here next week talking about like 5 secondary ENT videos. And I think I'm fine with it as long as like more brain power and focus is on the main channel, which I think is right now. And throughout this year so far, it has kind of been, especially with deference to Footy ENT, it has been a little bit on the back burner. Right now, I actively have like no Footy ENT videos that I want to make or that are in the process of being made. I did start making one, and then I kind of got bored halfway through, and then just did something else. So, topics will come up. I don't know. It's hard to get into the there is like a new news story every day that will be on all the podcasts, which I do listen to frickin' all of them, and they will all discuss the same topics. And it's like I could make a very basic scripted video like this too. But I just don't have the motivation, I don't think. Hopefully I'm still getting like one video out every once in a while over there. Or again, like halfway through the months, I'll pivot completely and be very inspired to make the great Footy ENT videos. But we will see. This is the plan moving forward part of the PowerPoint of the slide. At least 3 to 4 Kylie ENT this month. Scenes Madman, which I talked about. Marion Guthrie Black Sails is still one. I did do a kind of a draft for that, and then I was kind of like, ugh, what's even the point of this video? How do I make this video? I did kind of figure it out, but it did irk me a bit, so I did pivot into thinking the Madman one would be better next. Then we still have the Gendo video that I was hyped to make until I think I finished watching the rebuilds, and then I was like, this seems like a lot of fine-tuning. I think I probably will make some sort of a tuning exams video. Now, I did make a Land of Waves video on secondary ENT, but I think maybe if I make a general enough tuning exams video and I don't frame it exactly as a arc review thing, I think I could easily make a scripted video about the tuning exam stuff. Remain vague because the leader already hasn't watched all the episodes yet. But I've seen all the way up to episode 80. I do want to make some sort of video about Fire Red and Leaf Green. Now, the time to do that was last month, just about this time. But Pokemon videos are always relevant, and I know I said this, but I usually make Pokemon anime videos, which aren't eternally relevant, but Pokemon game videos are very eternally relevant. I do have some secondary ENT video ideas about Pokemon too, which might be interesting if we actually do those. Berserk is something that has to happen, and The Last of Us Part 2. I was talking to Minty recently, and, we started talking about The Last of Us Part 2, and he said, where the fuck are these videos? Why haven't I made them yet? So, that's back on the brain, which is no help to anybody. Secondary ENT is going to look different with no Chainsaw Mans every week. Kagurabachi incoming. I think we're still probably going to do that. There's not really an immediacy to it, though, because also we have to do the catching up period, which could be boring. I just don't know. I'm really hoping Kagurabachi is, cool and good, but we will see. Need to do more show season discussions. Yeah, I felt like I didn't do any last month, so when I sat down to collect all the statistics yesterday and I realized that industry was happening 2 weeks into the month or something, it was kind of crazy. But I had picked out the next show, then that changed, and I think it has changed permanently. And I do think the new show is going to be one that nobody cares about, so don't get too excited. Actually, I think I'm going to announce it on the next slide, or the slide after the next slide. I think the next show I'm going to do, which wasn't the original one that I started hyping up, which is now getting shoehorned into a different thing, is The Crown, the Queen Elizabeth show. I've been watching a bunch of history documentaries and shit like that. I've been watching a lot of World War I lecture videos and shit like that. So I'm very curious, even though obviously she wasn't alive then. But history stuff, and I think I will like that show. And it's the one I want to watch next. Actually, I have another plan to start a smaller show too, but we'll get to that when we get to our consumption slide. I think I'm just going to let it be and see how I feel. True, with secondary ENT, there isn't an attempt right now to make a lot of videos. I think I'm just going to see what happens and see if I look at it 10 days into the month and see that there's only been one video, or there will have at least been two because of our great update videos. But one other one besides that or something can be, oh my goodness, this cannot stand, and try and make more, or if I'll be like, we'll have to see. A little burnt out on Footy ENT at the moment. If inspiration hits me, I will follow it. True, we said that. Live streaming. We went live 6 times in March, which is up 1 from the last 2 months, I think. There were actually some fun stuff. We had a very successful Chainsaw Man finale stream. That's true, we did. And we did have an innovative new idea for the first time in a while with the Elitary Surprise stream, which is a great idea. The execution was not the best. I will say I probably should have made more notes for that Togepi video. But I was behind schedule. The other thing is, Right now, it's still just in our little circle, and it's very hard to please everybody in the circle. And the only thing that would please everybody in the circle is the things they are very verbally against, which is the thing, which is Jujutsu Kaisen. So we'll see if I choose that for my next one. Of course, it's got to be a mystery. But yeah, so selection could help, but also if we can get some new eyes on it, that would be much better. The video in terms of it being uploaded didn't do very well either, but that's like fine. I think this is like mainly a stream thing is exciting. Even if it's just a stream thing to be excited about. I do just think it's always going to be the case that most people are going to be disappointed. And I don't think there's much we can do about that until we grow our streaming audience. But it's a fun idea. I like the energy around it. It's surprise and Elite RE. And that's fun. And discussions are always fun. So I would do them anyway. But true. Oh, I think I had something else to say about streams. I think it'll be interesting if we ever do catch up on Kagurabachi. I think we should probably just live stream the chapter reviews. For whatever reason, streaming to YouTube buys me like an extra 20 minutes of stream. Twitch just sucks, I guess. And I think we tinkered with streaming chapter reviews sometimes. Honestly, actually, Elite RE will be coming further back in time today or tomorrow or something. Daylight saving stops. So, and I mean, I guess it just depends on whichever day Kagurabachi, if we do Kagurabachi, comes out. I think going live like 20 minutes after the chapter comes out, I think is a really good idea. Maybe even if Elite RE can't do it because it's like too early for him and he has a real job, I might just do it for a different series. I think it is a good idea. So streaming chapter reviews and going live afterwards, I think that could be a fun idea that we could try. 13 things were consumed in March, a respectable amount, which was the same as last month, but one more than the month before, which was 12. We'll talk about that, obviously, in our other video, if you really want in-depth consumption reflections. On the video essay front, I watched a Big Joel video while doing something else, and that was fun. I think I should just start doing this more with video essays, because I didn't make a digest video or anything like that. I don't think I'm going to make digest videos, so there's really no reward for me sitting down purposefully to, like, watch video essays. And I think they do, like, if I just treat them the way I treat a podcast, and I can look over if it seems like they're referencing something on the screen or something. I think that's probably a good way to watch video essays for me at the moment. I watched the Big Joel Nick Fuentes video like that, and it didn't feel like something I needed to focus on. And that was, like, good, and I think I would watch a lot more that way. And I think even have, like, I'm paying attention 50% of the time, even though it's probably more like 80% of the time. And consume a lot of video essays, I will have a much more of a general understanding of the space than if I only watch, like, 3 videos a month that I'm absolutely focusing on. Though I do watch more videos than that. Like, I watched the Innuendo Studios Adventure tier list thingy. That's the only other one that's coming to mind. But I swear I watched them. I didn't even watch all the new ContraPoints video yet, because who cares about Saw? But we'll see. Last time I talked about a super secret plans to help move things along. I ignored it all month. That is true. Maybe in April, true, but it's a secret, so we can't really talk about it. And that was before the great surprise idea. So I got so many surprises. This was the consumption plan for last month. Let's check in. Let's check in on this. We did not watch the 5 modern anime classics. We did not watch any of those movies. We didn't watch any Pokemon at all. We did finish Bull X Pit and Pokemon Fire Red. In fact, right now in Pokemon Fire Red, I am rematching the Elite Four with their updated teams, with my final teams, having completed all the Sevi Islands and caught all the legendaries. I got a Deoxys, I got a Lugia, I got a Ho-Oh, No, I didn't end up bothering doing the Roma because it was so fucking annoying. Because they can still roar you even if you have Shadow Tag on your Wobbuffet that you caught specifically for this. And that made me want to kill myself. So I'm not catching fucking Raikou. I've got all the birds. I caught Mewtwo. So I've done basically everything in this Great Fire Red. And it's been mostly completed. I'm 30 hours into this save file. My goodness. And my goodness, did I choose a shitty team. My Arbok, my Butterfree, my Fearow. They're not quite, my Vileplume, they're not quite up to the standards of our early 70s updated Team Elite Four. It's a little difficult. Pokemon Y and Pokemon ZA and the DLC I didn't touch, but they're still, I'm going to get to them. Kentucky Route Zero I didn't touch. I've only played it once, and I think that was in February, because we're reflecting on March. Claymore Anime, Escaflowne is downloaded. Cut that shit out. We decided to do Utner instead, which we have done pretty successfully, so that's not so bad. We did finish Industry. We did not move on to another show. We didn't read any of the Sword, and we didn't read any of Clash of Kings. So I think, because I have read the first, 3 pages of the Sworn Sword, which is the second Duncan Egg novella, for everybody paying attention. But I can't remember if it was this month or the month before, so. And I've started a whole new book, which we'll talk about in a second. Because lastly, we've got the consumption plan for March. Well, it should say April. Hey, I did make one mistake. Continuing the movies. I watched 5 movies last month, and it was fun, and I still feel the movie fever. This happens twice a year for me, so I need to capitalize while it's happening and watch some cool movies. After Hours is a very interesting seeming Martin Scorsese film I haven't seen, though it's not the bigger ones like The Departed or Shutter Island or whatever that I haven't seen, but I've already downloaded that, and Dangerous Liaisons. Dangerous Liaison is a play that was adapted into this movie that was adapted last year into a 6-part show in French that has a lot of sex in it that kind of reminds me of Industry. So I want to watch that show, and to do that I'm watching this old movie version of it first. So these are the 2 movies I'm going to do next. But also I've been doing the interchanging one old movie, one new movie thing. So I want to keep that doing. I watched Black Bag or whatever, and another a Nuremberg from last year. But I need to watch a One Battle After Another and Sinners and all these other ones that are fully popular. I think Sinners will probably be the next new one, and we'll keep going. Also, the that Zendaya A24 movie. I think it's out today. If you see it early or something. At some point, I will go and watch that in the movie theater, I think. Maybe I can convince Elite RE to do it or something, and we could do a discussion or something. Though Elite RE doesn't like going to the movie theaters, so we'll see. He'll watch this video, and he can let me know. But yes, movies are in right now, which is big. There's also the 5 modern anime movies that are a possibility. But what I was going to do is I was going to do that before I started watching other movies. And then I said, fuck that. I don't want to watch these anime movies. Now, the first 2 anime movies I have also already downloaded, which was Paprika and... Oh, The Male That Leapt Through Time. No, that's the Steins Gate reference to the movie. The Girl That Leapt Through Time. They're also both 90 minutes, so there's no real excuse for me not wanting to watch those movies, but for whatever reason, I don't at the moment. So I'm loving the great live action over here, and I want to get through, I have this fantasy of, removing 1 page from my watch list stuff, and that would be so cool. There's also so many movies out there, and there's a bunch I do want to watch, so we'll capitalize while we can capitalize. We do need to start back up with Pokemon. Now, I need to sequester the PlayStation for this. I actually don't need to, but it helps with... That was what was working in February. And I am going to start a new PS5 game. Well, it's a PS4 game. Relatively soon. I think we're going to be playing The Order. Which is going to be... I'm spoiling a future dot point. But when I play that, hopefully I can, 1 Pokemon video or episode while this. Because we need to finish Johto. I want to finish Johto before I move places. And I want to move places. So I need to get this out of the road. I think I've still got, about 70 episodes left. So we did make a pretty big dent in February, but it definitely burnt me out. I've got 4 episodes before the theme changes to my favorite theme. So that should be motivation. But I really did hit the movie, and then I think I completely stopped. But, oh my goodness, and then other motivation. When we get to the next movie, we've blackmailed Elite RE into watching it with us. So that'll be exciting. But that's, again, 50 episodes away. But true. Pokemon Leaf Green, Pokemon Y, and Pokemon ZA. I am going to play Leaf Green, too, because I've been, fantasizing about the different team I'm going to use. So that's probably going to come before getting back to these other 2 Pokemon games, but they will happen. And I have this, sick want to, play Pokemon Diamond specifically. I want a Haunchro. I want a Drapion. Even though Drapion isn't version exclusive, I just associate it with that. And, the problem is my Diamond cartridge fake deletes its save file a lot, but sometimes it really deletes its save file. It's weird. But the save file will come back, if you restart the DS a few times. Which seems like I'm playing with fire. So we'll see, how that works. There's Kentucky Route Zero that I still need to play. Me and Mr. R are supposed to talk about that. There's The Order, which I am actively going to play. God of War, PS2, I still want to start, and perhaps Telling Lies into Immorality. These are the FMV games that I do want to play. There's a bunch of other games, obviously. It's Final Fantasy IV. There's I've now bought both Mario Galaxy games. There's also the weird NES idea I have where I'm gonna go back and play a bunch of NES games, but I want to buy the actual NES like Switch add-on controllers for that. But they're like $80, so I'm like, when I get a good YouTube paycheck or something, maybe I'll buy that. We'll see. Which is at least 20 days away, so and that would require me uploading popular videos, so we'll see about all that. But there's lots of video games. Utna will be finishing up, true. The Claymore anime, Escalfona, Yamada's first time rewatch, Bakuno group pitch, and currently airing stuff. Which is why I want to catch up on Darwin Incidents and Sentenced to be a Hero, but those like pipe dreams. I also want to go back and finish Apocalypse Hotel and Lotus War and what's the other? City the Animation and shit like that, but we'll see. Oh, I do want to pitch Bakuno for like the end of this month before we move into any bigger group discussion stuff, because I do really want to rewatch it, and I definitely want to lead RE and Bacon to watch it. Nia isn't in my Bakuno fantasy, but we'll see. I'll definitely pitch it to Mia, but if Mia says, I don't really want to, I'm not going to cry about it. The new show is going to be The Crown and Seduction. These are two shows I already talked about. One big show, one small show a month. True, Seduction is like 6 episodes. There's a bunch of like short shows that I probably should be watching. So it is interesting if we do like a big show and a little show in a month, and that should be good. Now, I'm not going to finish all of The Crown in the month. It's 60 episodes or something. But we'll be going through it, so it'll be fun. Like other small shows, like Heated Rivalry is a show I should be watching. Chernobyl, Adolescence, all these like small shows I could easily watch that are like very short. The Great Gatsby and the Swan Short and some non-fiction. True, I did buy The Great Gatsby and I have started it. I read like 6 pages and I like couldn't put it down, bro. So that was kind of cool. So I'm interested in reading more of that, and I think another thing should be like a small book a month should probably be easy, because a lot of these classic books that I've bought are relatively small. Like The Great Gatsby is pretty thin. Heart of Darkness, which I was like a third of the way through but then stopped, is like pretty thin. Obviously the novellas, the Duncan Egg novellas are all pretty thin, and maybe I should work on a big video in the background or some non-fiction stuff. I do want to read non-fiction stuff too. We do want to read more, so that's a general idea. I have chosen the next Elite RE surprise, and we'll be working on that in the background. It's much longer this time, and there's no closed bracket there, so that's annoying. But that is true, and I haven't started, and I should, because I do want to do it by the end of the month. Oh my goodness, that's the last up point. But yes, that's the consumption plan. Now, this is a very big consumption plan, and again, I don't want to get sidetracked in consumption when I should be focusing mostly on making some frickin' videos, but this is I'm looking at a lot of distractions right now, so we'll see. Oh my goodness, why is it making that noise in my headphones? So far, 2026 has been good for output, not so good for results. We need a big video. And you got a more chance the more stuff you're putting out. So we really need to work on that. Consumption's been great. Everything else has been pretty good. But we'll work on that. Where will we be next month? My goodness, who knows? I think that's it. Make sure to watch the ranking consumption video and all that stuff to find out what we think about all the great things we consumed. Support links in the description below. Thanks.